Hi everybody, I'm Elizabeth with the Noonan Carnegie Library, and today we're going to be making a Fiber Art Suncatcher that you can hang in your window or outside if you like. So thank you so much for joining me, and let's get started. For this program we're using a branch, beads in a variety of styles and colors. So we've got glass, crystal, we've also got some crystal chandelier pieces, plastic, faceted beads, and smooth beads in different shapes and sizes. We've got some jewelry tools. We've got copper wire that's very thin, and that's so that we can string the beads easily. You can see, make some space there, you can see these are ones that are already strung, and I'm going to string one strand for you during the program. And I've got some recycled silk yarn, and you can use any fibers for your fiber part that you want. You can strip down t-shirts and cut them into strips, or get yarn in various colors and styles, whatever you choose for your fiber aspect on this particular craft. The step that we're going to do is we're going to create the sun catcher parts that are going to hang from the Fiber Art branch. And so I've created a center one that is going to be a little different than the others, with several different colored beads on it, and of course the crystal at the end, and a few other little metal elements that I've added to it. And then the other four that I'm going to have hanging are going to be rainbow, and they're all going to look similar to each other, so they're going to be the same. So I've already done 3 of these, and I'm going to do the 4th one for you guys to watch, so that you can see how I put these together. So I've got about 5.5, maybe even 6 feet of very thin copper wire. This is pretty strong, so it'll hold up. Even if you decide to hang this outside in the weather, it'll hold up. And so what I've done is I've bent it in the middle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread just one side through the hole that's in the crystal. And that will make that the centerpiece to our end. And it'll hang down on the end. And everything else that we thread on here is going to go through both of the pieces of wire will go through the rest of the beads, so that they'll come up in a string along the top. And I'm going to do these in a sort of a rainbow arrangement. So I've got a rainbow colored bead on the first, and then I'm going to do some purples and some blues and some greens. And like I said, I'm going to pull both, you can see both wires through each of the next sets of beads. And you can do these in any pattern you like, and you can add whatever little metal elements you like. I've got a few different beads on here that I could add if I wanted to. This one looks like a little dragonfly. There's some little bells. I'm not putting these on here right now, but you can add anything you want to these to make them shiny and sparkly and pretty the way that you want. So we're doing our purples, and then we'll move to the blues. And like I said, just run each bead down both sides of that wire. And what you'll have when you get finished with that is going to look exactly like this. So you can see we've got purples, blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds, and then I've got some black, gray, and whites at the top, and plenty of copper wire left at the top of this. You can see that both sides of that wire are run through each of these beads, except for that bottom one. The bottom one is going to hold everything else in place. And what we're going to do with this is going to give us plenty to wrap around our finished Fiber Art stick, and we're going to make that out of a branch. I've got a branch. This one's pretty long. You don't have to use one this long. You can use one any size that you decide. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the fiber silk Sari recycled yarn in all these different colors, and I'm going to wrap down the length of the wood, and I may even run some through the little Y of this branch, so that we can then hang our rainbow sparklies off the bottom. Okay, so let me finish running our beads, and once I get done with that, I'll show you what our finished beads look like, and then we will start wrapping the yarn. All right, got all 5 of our strands done. The rainbows, 4 of which look just like this. And then our center strand, which is a little longer and a little more elaborate. It looks like this. And it was just basic stringing, getting everything strung together and ready to hang off of our branch. And so to decorate the branch, like I said, I'm going to use our yarn that is recycled Sari yarn. So it comes in a whole variety of colors. And I'm just going to start on one end and tie a nice knot. And once I get the knot tied, I'm just going to begin wrapping to make a nice pattern. So I'm going to start on the thick end of the branch, and I'm going to tie a nice tight knot to hold the yarn in place. Get a good pattern going. And I want to leave a little space in between some of the wraps so that we get to see that natural wood. There will be some knots that we want to show as well. And then when we get down further, we're going to want to run some yarn in between the 2 pieces of this Y that we've got to make a nice little pattern too. And if you can't find this kind of yarn that already comes in the multiple colors, you can get yarn in different colors and just do overlapping pieces so that you still get a sort of a rainbow effect if that's what you like, or you can do just 1 or 2 colors if that's what you prefer. It'd be nice to see how this turns out in a monochromatic color. So like if all your beads were just shades of purple and your yarn was shades of purple or shades of red, that might be really pretty too. So when we come to the end of this particular piece of yarn, I'm going to tie a knot and then start just another piece of yarn, because we've got plenty. So where my other piece ended, I'm just going to tie a new knot and start a new piece of yarn. Nothing particularly complicated about this process. We're just going to get it covered with a few open spaces and a bunch of pretty colors and textures. And then when we get to this Y that we've got here, we're going to go ahead and wrap a few turns around and then get started wrapping the smaller branch. And then after I get a few turns onto the smaller branch, I think I'm going to run a few pieces like that. So I've tied on a third piece of yarn, and now I'm going to finish wrapping this and adding a few little connectors in between. And that's the tail end of that, so I'm going to tie another little knot to finish it off. There we go. All right, so this is our finished fiber piece, and then we're going to take our bead pieces and hang them from the bottom bar of this. So I've got, this is the center one that's a little bit different. I'm going to hang it from the very center, and I'm just going to use that excess wire to wrap it several times like this, and then I'm going to tie a knot in the wire up against the branch. And you may end up using your tools to help you get your wire over and under to get your knot tied, just because it's easier to manipulate your wire with the pliers than with your fingers, especially close to the fiber like that. All right, so double that knot so that your wire stays put. So just over and under, just like you tie your shoes. And use your pliers if it makes it easier to get the wire where you want it to go. There we go. And then once you've got that knotted, you can trim off the excess with your wire cutter. Twist it around a little bit. And that should hang just like you want it to hang. So I've got my centerpiece hanging just the way I want it to. And now I'm going to hang each of the 4 rainbow strands, 2 on either side. And they'll be a little shorter than the long center one, and that's exactly how we want it to be. So again, I'm going to wrap this around several times for the strength. knotted at the bottom. Cut off whatever excess wire you have. And so those will be hanging like that. One on the other side. Okay. Got 4 of them. My last one. The outer edge here. Go. So we've got all of our strands hung, and now our last step is going to be to take some of the yarn and make a way to hang this up, either outside or, like I said, in your window. I'm probably going to hang mine in my window. And so I'm just going to tie this on to make a hanging loop. Make your tight knots good and tight. So I have given myself a nice little hanger for that. And that should be a lovely sun catcher that can hang in your window or outdoors on a nice sunny day. I hope you guys enjoyed making that with me. And again, these can be made with almost anything that you have laying around, whatever beads you have, whatever fibers you have, torn up t-shirts, yarn, extra scraps, anything like that. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that, and thank you so much for joining me. Please do check out our Facebook page, our Instagram, our YouTube, and our website at noonandcarnegie.com for other resources and videos. And I really enjoyed doing this craft with you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.